my son. I know why discipline feels heavy to you. I know there are days where it feels like you're carrying something you're not meant to, like you're forcing yourself into a shape that doesn't quite fit yet. You tell yourself discipline is supposed to feel empowering, but instead it feels restrictive, tiring, sometimes even pointless. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, it means you're integrating. Discipline feels heavy at first because it is replacing something. It replaces chaos. It replaces impulse. It replaces the false freedom of doing whatever you feel like in the moment. And the nervous system resists that. For a long time, your life may have been organized around relief. Relief from discomfort. Relief from pressure. Relief from feeling behind or inadequate. Alcohol, women, distraction, validation, fantasy. Those things felt light because they asked nothing of you. Discipline asks everything. Identity is the deepest force in human behavior. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. Right now, discipline feels heavy because it is asking you to live at a higher standard than your old identity was built for. That friction is not failure. It is transformation. You need to voluntarily pick up the heaviest burden you can carry. Not because suffering is good, but because meaning emerges when you choose responsibility instead of avoiding it. At first, responsibility feels like weight, because it is. But over time, something changes. Your muscles adapt. Your mind adapts. Your sense of self adapts. What once felt like oppression becomes structure. What once felt like restriction becomes safety. This is where most men quit. They mistake the initial heaviness for proof that discipline is not for them. But discipline is not meant to feel freeing at the beginning. It's meant to feel clarifying. It shows you where you are fragmented, where you lie to yourself, where you seek comfort instead of growth. Discipline is not punishment, it is training. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace. That word later matters. Peace is the byproduct, not the starting point. This phase is initiation, the moment where the old self resists dissolution. The ego calls discipline cruel because it senses it is losing control. The part of you that relied on excuses, on numbing, on drifting, knows its days are numbered. So it fights back. It tells you life should feel easier by now. It tells you you're missing out. It tells you one slip won't matter. This is not your intuition. This is withdrawal from chaos. This is important for you to understand. When you begin to live with discipline, you lose the ability to blame. You can no longer say, "I could have been more, if only." You start to see clearly what you are capable of. That clarity is uncomfortable, because now the gap between your potential and your actions is visible. Discipline removes the fog, and clarity is confronting before it is empowering. But stay with it, because discipline is not about control. It's about trust. At first, you don't trust yourself. You've broken promises before. You've sabotaged momentum. You've numbed when things got hard. So discipline feels like an external force holding you in place. Over time, something shifts. You start keeping small promises. You start showing up consistently. You start proving to yourself that you can be relied on. And then, discipline stops feeling like pressure. It starts feeling like relief. Because when you trust yourself, your nervous system can rest. You no longer have to negotiate with your impulses every day. You no longer wake up wondering which version of you will show up. Freedom is not the absence of structure. Freedom is knowing who you are and acting in alignment with it. That's why discipline eventually feels light. Not because the work disappears, but because the inner resistance does. The man you are becoming does not experience discipline as force. He experiences it as self-respect in motion. This is why discipline feels hardest right before it starts working. Because you are shedding an identity that kept you small but comfortable. And comfort is seductive. But comfort never made a man worthy. Discipline is how you become someone your future self can depend on. Someone a woman can build a life with. Someone children can look up to. Someone life can entrust with more. So if discipline feels heavy right now, don't panic. You are not failing. You are recalibrating. Carry it a little longer. One day, you'll realize something quietly. You're no longer forcing yourself to live this way. This is just who you are now. And that is freedom.